weekend. Did I see correctly? I've not checked in today. Let me pull this up. Are the Bears even more of a favorite now?
I thought it was 2.5 last I looked.
Because it was 1.5 to open the week. So
and this is a game you should be favored by 4.5 points, 4 points.
If you were any good?
Yeah. Like the Rams are coming to town in an ambulance. They've got so many hurt bodies.
Right now, the Bears are a 3-point favorite. So they're up to 3. I don't know, Waddle.
You called it a must-win.
I did. Doesn't mean they're going to win. For them, if they want to do anything this year, they must win this game. And they must make us feel better about their way they're doing business offensively. All right, so Circa Sports Illinois, download it today. And then we've got football back tomorrow in our lives.
Yes, that's the way I was telling the fellas, it's kind of way I live right now. Tuesdays, I'm kind of, you're all footballed out because you've watched Saturday, you've watched Sunday, you watch Monday night. You're like, okay, I'm good.
You know what I'm
sick of? And then
Wednesday,
like right now,
yeah,
I'm like, where's my football?
And I love football, and I'll watch it. But you know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of watching the Cowboys. I'm cowboyed out.
Okay.
I'm cowboyed out, and it's Cowboys-Giants. I'm cowboyed out.
I thought it was weird that Tom Brady's traveling with the Cowboys to call Thursday night's game.
He's their hometown call.
Play.
Did you see after we were talking about this yesterday, and I don't know if you have this in your A-list, but the Netflix game where they were chasing Brady, they're now going after Ian Eagle and Greg Olson.
I think, yeah.
So like we talked about.
They're going after both Eagles, and then they're also going after Nate Burleson as well.
Yeah. All right, so what do you got, Tyler?
All right, so Caleb Williams met with the media earlier today, and he was asked if there's anything that he can do to help out a struggling offensive line.
Yeah, one I can keep communicating to the offensive line, and positivity, constructive criticism, things like that to them, and then how I am maybe in the pocket, how I feel about certain things. In the pocket, so they just have it in mind on their conscience. And then that's a cool thing about football is that everything is a work in progress. We all haven't been together for 2-3 years. And so, to get in a live battle with these guys and to go out there and, fight with them is really important for, I think, the confidence of all of us to get up. After a bad play, go and celebrate with them after a good play. I think those things go a long way. And then off the field wise, hanging out with them, being with them, I think it builds a connection throughout the year. And I think it's going to keep growing.
I actually think you can learn a lot if a rookie quarterback sits with his offensive line and watches the film, take all the pass cuts and watch it from behind, watch it from the side, and then just kind of talk through, hey, as a quarterback, this is what I'm thinking about my movement in the pocket.
Yeah,
this is why I'm shuffling here and why I'm shuffling there. So you as a left tackle, just know that my tendency is that this is what I'm going to do. And I think that you can. Are you going to be able to perfect things? No, but if they know what you're thinking on every pass play in the pocket and what your tendencies are, I think it can help everybody.
That's what I was going to ask. Like that, those are the things he's talking about with communicating with in the pocket.
I think also, again,
I like it clean.
I think cadence, they're still working on their cadence. You've seen them, whether you're in a loud opponent's facility or not. Like Mercedes Lewis has been in the league for 90 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's got at least 2 illegal procedure penalties so far this year. I think cadence is something they're still learning through all of this stuff. What are his tendencies? So, I think you can learn a lot of it.
90-year
veteran. It's great. I think you can learn a lot from it. And I'm glad to hear that they are engaged in that stuff.
It's interesting you say that, Waddle, because one thing I've noticed, he being Caleb, likes to, when he's breaking out of the pocket, escape through the back and to his left, which most right-handed quarterbacks prefer moving to your right.
And you got to know that.
But he's comfortable doing that. But there were a couple occasions, not just in Sunday's game, but in previous weeks, where there was, he had an opportunity, but then he's doing that but then there's a defender who's being pushed into that area that he likes to escape out of. So that's a good point, is something to look for.
Was it you breaking down the film, Waddle? There are so many people. You've sent us clips, and I love when you send us clips. And whenever you say one more, and then you send us an additional, like you can never send me too much. Like I love when you Waddles will break down the film on his computer, then send us a video of him
Very
showing us
fashion.
what's going on. Yeah, and I love that. So I don't know if this came from you or if this was like Baldy or one of the other people, but I think it was from you. Where was it a play where Caleb had one guy to beat, and he just threw the ball out of bounds instead of dodging him, which he normally would do in his sleep.
It was in the red zone.
Yeah.
It was like, well, it was he was at the 25-yard line, and it was a boot. And whoever was engaged with the pass rusher kind of let him go and then executed on this route. And then Caleb was threatened by that pass rusher, who, if you watch him play in college, you know he dekes that guy.
Or even in the
every
preseason.
time. Or even in the preseason, and finds a way to get around him. What he did was just threw the ball away. So there wasn't a negative play, but DJ Moore was coming in a shallow cross.
Isn't that, don't you think, where you're being coached so hard, and because of the negative play that he took from a couple of weeks ago, I think, was it the Tennessee game?
Could have
when
been.
he lost 19.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to tell him, look, live for another day and throw the ball away instead of losing so many yards. That now all of a sudden, instead of just reacting, you're overthinking.
Could be, but he's got to be able to also differentiate between those two examples.
Sure.
Because when he was pressured by the Titans, that was a jailbreak coming straight at him, and he tried to do too much. This was a design boot where he is fabulous. He is fantastic on the run. He's accurate, and he's a good decision maker. He could have taken, and again, it's not an easy thing to do, but these are professionals, and this is one of the reasons why he was drafted first overall. You could have pump faked him, gotten around him, and either ran or gotten the ball to DJ Moore. Instead of even trying to evade the guy, he just threw it out of bounds.
I know.
And it shocked me when I watched it a second time,
And when
because
you
I've
sent it.
seen him make this play so many times, and it's almost like he didn't have enough confidence in himself to do what he's done his entire life.
Yeah, that's
it was a
gotta
weird
change.
play.
All right, what else, Tyler?
One other thing that I've noticed too, like people forget this about Caleb in college, but he was a good runner.
Yeah.
Are you surprised he hasn't run the football a little bit more?
A little bit, but I think he's also finding out that everyone there is bigger, faster, and stronger, so you got to be careful. But yeah, I am surprised. That was another play like we just described when we talked about it, trying to, deke the defensive guy and then maybe drop it over to DJ. Or he could have gotten to the sideline and run for 5, 6, 7 yards and got out of bounds. I am a little bit, but I also do realize that he's realizing that this is a step up in class, and you can't run away from defensive ends and outside linebackers the way you did in college.
Speaking of running the football, that is something that has eluded the Chicago Bears so far through the first couple of weeks. And this was an interesting little nugget that Jeremy Fowler dropped in his news and notes and buzz column this week. And it's all the way buried at the bottom. It's the penultimate thing that he gives out here. But he says, watch for Bears running back Roschon Johnson to possibly get an extended look this week. Chicago has struggled mightily to run the ball and turned to Johnson, more of a bruiser, for 8 carries in week 3 versus the Colts. The Bears need to get downhill faster.
Well, he's getting that. You could tell he's getting that from the org, from the
So I was
organization.
going to ask you guys, would you give Roschon Johnson more carries than DeAndre Swift this week?
I would at this particular time. I don't think that – I think at this point, you need to establish an identity in the running game. Not that you're a smash mouth team, but you need to be able to run the ball effectively enough that it can take pressure off of your quarterback. And you need to use the personnel, whoever fits that style best. And I don't give a rat's ass that you gave $8 million to DeAndre Swift. You need to put the guy back there that can accomplish what you need to accomplish right now. You can live for another schematic day, 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road. You need to get your ass on track right now.
Yes. You need to make life easier for your quarterback.
Yes.
Everything's about him, and you need to support him with a run game.
Yeah.
And if that's Roschon, fine. But support him in any way, shape, or form in a run game.
And I'm not suggesting either that he's the second coming of Earl Campbell. But what he does do is he gets to the hole and he's where he's supposed to be and he runs with authority. He has the capacity to break tackles.
Do you know
and I think he fits what they would probably be better off doing.
Do you know what this reminds me of? Tell me if I'm wrong. I know it is apples to oranges, but still, it reminds me of where people would always say, cut the field in half for Justin because you got to start getting him going. I don't know where it's eventually going to take you, but
you need to do it now.
You got to start getting him going.
Yes.
And they have to get the run game going.
So do whatever you have
So
to.
again, like the grand plan was to sign DeAndre Swift, and now it's going to look really, really bad that you rushed out and you signed a running back and not a difference-making running back, and you may have flushed money down the toilet, but you have to get the running game going, and even if it's not the perfect solution, it could be a solution in the short term.
Amen.
So it does make sense.
It makes total sense to me, and it's what I would be doing if I was them right now. I told you earlier I would self-scout. I would simplify things. I would cut it back. I'm going to stop throwing all the wide receiver screens. I'm going to run a north-south running game with Roschon Johnson, and I'm going to get DJ more involved downfield in the passing game. Those are the three things that I would highlight to them if I was sitting in their building. But certainly the thing that is most important is taking pressure off your quarterback with a semblance of a running game. And the guy that I think can do that best at the moment would be Roschon Johnson.
It just sucks that we celebrate these things in the off season and then they don't come to fruition in the regular season.
Real quick, I have a White Sox one that I want to get to you guys here as they will go for the record once again tonight after, I guess it was mission failed last night.
Mission failed.
In terms of them going for the record. But anyway, I thought yesterday's crowd was very confused. They didn't know exactly what to do in certain situations. They didn't know whether to cheer or boo. All we knew really as the crowd was we were going to chant "sell the team" at certain points.
And I need a really good one tonight.
Yeah, I think there will be.
It's pretty good. That was a little late, wasn't it? When was that, 6th or 7th inning? Was that the best one?
It was a couple times throughout the game. But let's say they go out, they lose tonight. How does the crowd react? Or maybe I'm missing, I haven't seen it on like White Sox Twitter or whatever. Is there like a unified way of how this is going to be commemorated at the end of the game in terms of the fan interaction? Are they going to boo? Are they going to cheer? Like what?
It's interesting. Like, are they going to boo the team? Is it going to be a standing ovation?
Like they booed last night after they lost.
Yeah. And then are they going to boo the team for losing to let them know like it's a grand boo for the season?
I think this is the most obvious no-brainer ever. You've got the famous scoreboard by, of course, our great beloved Bill Veek.
That's very good.
I think you have to set off the fireworks and let John Schriffen celebrate with everybody.
You know there's no way any firework is going off.
I wouldn't think so.
Well, remember,
why would you be celebrating ineptitude?
It's got to be by the fans, and I know you say that tongue-in-cheek, Meller, but
Wait. Don't you think Bill Veek, though, would actually lean into it?
He probably would.
Jerry's not Bill Veek.
Yeah.
Remember, the way that the losing streak was going, the game that would have broken the streak was fireworks night. So they would have launched fireworks if they had broken the longest losing streak record.
I'm more interested to see how, if in fact the record does occur, how the fans will react. Are they really going to clap for setting a mark?
That's
for
what I'm wondering.
Like, that's why it's interesting. I don't know what.
Right.
That's where the biggest chant has to happen. To me, right after that final out happens, if it happens tonight or tomorrow afternoon, you have to then come up with the biggest chant. Or like with one out, you know how, or with 2 outs with 1 out left, with your last batter up, that's when the biggest chant of sell the team has to happen.
I was going to say.
Like, it has to be an orchestrated thing. Everyone's got to come together and make your voice heard. And not that it will have an impact,
But you know they'll be playing that all over Sports Center. I mean, they did last night, and they won last night. But that's the thing is, I think there has to be some sort of unifier there. And I feel like sell the team at the end of the game once that final out is official, or like you said, with 1 out to go.
Yes.
That's the way to go.
Isn't it, Tyler, don't you believe tonight will be a bigger crowd because of the weather?
I think
like it's picture perfect.
Yeah, it's beautiful out. And also, there's probably a lot of fans that are like, there's no way they're winning 2 in a row, right?
I missed it last night. I'm not going to miss it tonight.
Right, exactly.
You watch, they're going to stick it to us, and they're going to win again.
Win out.
They'll sweep.
They're going to win out.
Or at least these next 2, and they'll do it on the road.
Wouldn't it be
They'll
funny?
do it in Detroit.
They spent the whole year making history for the wrong reasons, and now they start like making history for the right reasons by winning these wacky games like they did last night.
The only good thing about them losing or winning at home these next 2 games would be to have Jason Benetti call the clincher.
That's true.
Like Benetti's revenge.
I bet he's hoping for that quietly.
He would never admit it.
No.
Because he's all class.
Of course.
But to have Jason Benetti call the clincher in Detroit.
But if you could double up, it could be the Tigers clinching their playoff berth and the White
then
Sox.
could say-
No, because
You want
that
it
will
by
get
its
in the
own.
way. It will get in the way of Benetti's call because he has to celebrate the Tigers
That's
clinching
fair.
the postseason.
Thanks, Sox. Right? As they
That's
clinch.
good.
Thanks, Sox.
That's good. Very good.